I want you both to think of a number in your minds.
I knew that you're going to do
Between-
that.
So why don't you introduce yourself? You're new to the team, you're new to the crew. Tell us, who is Zeek?
Okay, my name is Zeek, and I'm responsible for the business development in the MENA region for DeepDive technology. And I'm looking forward working with the team because we did a lot of good stuff together, had a lot of nice talks. So I think we're going to be doing a great job.
Well, I felt like I needed Tylenol after having long conversations with Misha. And now I understand that you and him have a lot in common. You have a background, you're a techie by background, right? You went
Yes.
techie, pre-sales engineer. Can you kind of walk us through that process?
Yeah, so when I started as a proper nerd, and I did all my tech
Proper
stuff.
nerd.
Yes, so I used to be an ethical hacker and do a lot of penetration testing and all this lovely,
I
attractive,
don't
nice.
believe in the sentence ethical hacking, by the way.
We always have
It's
to
a
call
hacker
it like
or ethical guy. Like,
that. Okay, so I'm a hacker with a good morals. Let's call it like this. And then after that, I switched to pre-sales and for some time, and then I had a talk with my manager, and he said, "Why don't you become in sales?" And I said, "No, I don't like it." He said, "Okay, but you can sell anything because you have this talent of selling." And boom, done. I became a sales guy.
Like, how much of an advantage do you guys think it gives you over someone like me? You both come from techie background and have shifted to business executive kind of roles. Start with you, Zeek. Like, how much of an edge do you think that gives you in adding value for customers?
I think it gives you a lot of edge because the customer feels that you're not here to take his money. You're here to help him, to utilize his money to make his life better. And this is because we understand the product. So if I'm selling something, I'm not selling the box. I'm selling the real product, which is you tell the customer what are the pros, what are the cons, because there is nothing like looks 100% good. So you need to tell him the bad part first, and then you need to show him how you're going to use the good part of it, and then boom, the product is sold.
Yeah.
if you ask me, it helps. I think it helps to demonstrate relatively quick, in no time, that there is no BS. So we understand the process, we understand the business, and the technology that we talking about actually fits there. Okay, and extends the business capabilities and extends the values, really brings the values. It's not about like, oh, you need this just because everybody's use it, okay, already.
Yeah, all boxes looks alike from outside.
Yeah.
Everybody have the same write-up. So what gives us the edge, and Misha can confirm that, is we know the inside of the product. So when the customer say, "Oh, does it do this?" Yes or no? You get a nice answer. You don't say, "Oh, let me check with my techies and then I'll come back to you," which makes it now you're bonding with the customer because he thinks that you know everything about it and not just selling it.
Do you feel a lot of the times it's a combination? I think you taught me this, Misha. Usually you have a techie and a non-techie that go in and crack open the first conversation with an enterprise customer, right, to start the relationship. How do you feel about those two models? What if you have a techie and a non-techie, or you have it all built into one? Is there an advantage one way or the other way? It seems to me like at the end of the day, you're trying to build trust. You're trying to show that you can deliver, and if you understand how to communicate in the language of an executive, and you understand actually how the solution needs to work, it's an advantage. What do you think?
I think we all need to feel where is the border, okay? So for example, when we really having a conversation on really top executive level, we're really not going deep in the technology. We only, like I personally stop at the level that, yeah, I believe this technology will help here, it will be useful, it has the solution. If needed, let's talk about this in more details with the technical team. Okay, so I'm not really going deep and even demonstrating that I have some knowledge in this particular domain. I can mention that I'm mentioning that I'm coming from this domain, I have this in my background, but I really not discussing this. In some cases, depends on the situations, it's even better not to talk about technical and have beside you the top expert that can really expand the topic and actually subconsciously deliver the message, yes, this is our domain, we know it. Okay, so.
Just by having another person sitting into the room, right? It's like physically showing that you're ready.
I experienced this many times, and that people have hard time to believe that you have expertise in multiple domains. So automatically they demolish the value in their head on stuff that you discuss.
Yes, and this is one of the biggest organizations I worked with before, was that the strategy of being in front of a customer is just putting 20 people in front of him. Because now he thinks like, whoa, these guys know their stuff.
Yeah, you've been in front of a lot of customers. You're ex-IBM, ex-Microsoft. Let's address that. We talk about influence, or as you say in the Arabic culture, wasta. We're in Dubai right now, and I hear people talk using the word wasta. The influence that you have. How much weight does that have when you walk into a room and you say, "My name is Zeek. I'm ex-IBM. I'm ex-Microsoft." What does that do?
Okay, first of all, when you introduce yourself, you do it in the opposite direction. So you say, I'm Zeek, I'm DeepDive technology. This is the headline.
That's where you start.
Then you say, okay, I used to work in IBM, and like saying it, I'm ex-IBMer, it's nice, it's a good tag, but ex-IBMer, so why you're not there yet? So now you're here because you started developing in a different way. The weight of it as an IBM put a bit more trust that, okay, you're coming from the dinosaur of IT. Okay, now you've been there.
Actually like when he said, and you're constantly developing, so ex-IBM, ex-Microsoft, and next development step for him is DeepDive
technology. Exactly.
Awesome, man.
And that shows a lot, right?
Absolutely. What would you say, you had that experience of working inside both. Misha, you've partnered with these large consulting companies, right? Like we sit on the Microsoft Consulting Services bench as an example. We've worked with them all. You've never worked inside of these companies. Zeek has had this opportunity.
He got the fun part of it.
He got the fun part. So why don't you share, like, what was the best part of working inside of IBM and Microsoft from a general perspective as somebody that wants to get ahead in their career in innovation and digital transformation? What was the coolest part?
Leveraging on the company name. Because when you say IBM, so who made the hardware? Who made the software? Then Microsoft, which platform most of the human are using? So when you say I used to work for them, or I am working for them now, it doesn't need that much of effort to build the trust, because you are coming from there. So boom, it's done.
It opens the door.
Yes.
What was your thought, Misha, of why you never wanted? You had job offers from some of these guys, not to mention particular names. So what was your thought? Why did you resist this temptation? You probably were offered a good sum of cash.
First of all, let's put aside cash. It doesn't matter. Okay, it really doesn't matter. Like I don't believe in the concept that anyone need to work just for money. Like if you only work for money, you're dead body. It's you will be destroyed mentally in no time. Like few months, 1 year, you will be destroyed mentally, and nobody knows how you will finish your life actually. So let's put it aside. It was time in my life when I wanted to work for some of those big organizations, and yes, it was an offer at some time when I put it down and didn't want to pursue, and one of the reasons was at that moment, and now it's changed to the good way. I didn't like the culture. I didn't want to be part of the big organization keeping in mind that I spent more than 25 years working with enterprises, in enterprises, and seeing the processes, seeing the procedures, seeing amount of bureaucracy that you have to deal with. I believe it's not for me. Like, I believe in a fast mode. I believe in a fast failure approach. We talked about this many times, when it's not matter about how well you prepared, it's about how fast you try and test new things, recognize that it works or not. If it doesn't work, you just drop it, move on, try another one. If it works, boom, expand on that. So I like this mode, and I also believe that building and maintaining the culture is one of the most important pieces in any business. Maintaining culture that you want in an organization with 5 people, it's relatively easy. 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, you can do this, okay? I know how to keep, I know how to keep the same culture, same attitude, keep people with the same values, same goals, up to 1,000 people. I believe I know that. It's really hard to do this with 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 people, okay? Yes, you can do this. Like, I really love what Satya Nadella did in IBM, in Microsoft, in last just 5 years. It's amazing. Like, I loved everything. Like, and I know a lot of insights about how the company get transformed. And my personal opinion, Satya Nadella saved Microsoft. Otherwise, it would die.
What's your reaction to hearing this?
Yeah, I'm happy, but still, like, as Misha said, it's not about money, because I always have it, like, I call it's the hamster wheel. If you start working for money, you are stuck in the hamster wheel. So you're running endlessly because you're just making bits and pieces. And at the end of the day, did you live your life? No, you spend all your life just running for a big bank account, which is having 6 digits, 7 digits, whatever number in it. But did you enjoy your life? Did you live your life? So this is the first thing that you don't decide based on the figures. Second thing is, when I said Misha had the fun part of working with like organization like Microsoft and IBM, it's exactly because what he said, the bureaucracy. The flexibility of working with DeepDive technology makes it, we can change strategy by just sitting in a meeting, because you decide that the strategy is not working, you change it. In other companies like IBM, this is impossible to do.
So how important is that we're finishing 2020 right now.
Fortunately,
we're almost in 2021. We're seeing the buzzwords of adaptability, agility, resilience all the time, right? Things are changing faster than we can keep track of. How does this mindset kind of play into this next year? Is this something that, for any organization that's providing any type of innovation, service, product to any type of customer, what do they need to do to be relevant in 2021?
It's now tricky because there is pros and cons. Because 2020 made people think, okay, if you have the money, keep the money, don't spend it. So right. This is the dark side of it.
I would say it's a natural reaction.
Exactly, but you protect your assets.
We're talking spending freeze, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, but at the same time, with the amount of online services that popped up and the amount of everybody sitting at home, so everybody needs mobility to work from home. Now the need for new technologies that is flexible enough to absorb and adopt whatever you've been doing and just make it in a nice multi-level, fast-moving way that you can do it from home, you can do it from a coffee shop, you can do it if you're stuck in a different country because of any restrictions. That made life a bit faster, but we are here to help the fast growth of this by giving different solutions, different ways of dealing with it, and then done. You're not selling a product as much as you're selling the concept of we are flexible and we can adapt whatever you have, do migration, do this, we don't need downtime. All this stuff that is coming from a technical place, it makes life easy now if you are willing to spend this amount of money to do it.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts to add?
You just opened a Pandora box, okay? Because technically, like, everybody heard the statements that last 30 years, last 50 years, we as a human, as evolution, like, we progressed in the last 50 years more than entire humanity progressed in the last 2,000 years. Just 50 years. I believe that this year, COVID forced organizations and businesses and even people to change mindset. And change mindset in a way that we need to operate fast now. Those companies that were not fast enough during the COVID time, majority of them already dead. When I say not fast enough, they were not fast enough to change, to adopt, to introduce new things. They're already dead, or they're probably going to be dead in the next 6 months. This is the fact. It's like many researchers about that. Like, yeah, you don't need to be genius. Just observe what's going on there, and you will see this. I believe that 2020 is the starting point of the new speed of life that we, as human on Earth, will start living. So going forward, it's going to be, everything will be driven by speed. And as long as we can come and test the new idea fast, it is going to be a trigger. Do you want to reorganize, restructure your business in a really fast mode? In a matter of days, boom, this is going to be a killer.
Yeah.
I was doing work, calls, responding to stuff, validating, like 20 minutes before going diving. And then checking the results when we were on the boat going back to the shore. It's like life is changing, the speed of life is changing. Back in the days, organizations spent $500,000 just on a POC, 6-8 months of POC, and then like another 2 years of transition to production. Those companies gonna die. Like it's disappearing. Speed of action, speed of change. I would say is the new buzzwords for 21 and going forward. So those organizations, like I believe that even all the roadmaps in big enterprises will start transform soon if they already didn't transform. So all the concept of the digital transformation, all the concept of becoming digital will start changing. It already started to change.
Yeah.
If enterprise unable to validate new idea in a matter of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's dead. Like it's something wrong in the process. Look, you and I yesterday we were in a meeting, amazing meeting with one of the biggest companies in their field in GCC area.
Yeah.
What the introduction, like how the guy that was at the table, how he introduced himself, like from the title perspective, I loved it. Remember, like
remind me.
When we started the introduction, and remember he said, I am now generalist. Doesn't matter what's printed on my business card. Remember?
Yeah, because of the speed to making decisions, right? The requirement of speed. Any thoughts on this when we're talking about speed?
It's now running on hypermode because now you don't have the luxury of, oh, let's wait for 2 years. What if anything happened like what happened in 2020 that stopped life after 2 years or a year? So now you need to take the decision, you need to implement, you need to have a final results before even you think, is it, oh, should I go there? Or now, okay, let's go diving. Oh, we take a car and we just go for the dive. Why? Because what if tomorrow doesn't come? So live now, live today, tomorrow is a different day.
Yeah, but not everyone has a dedicated vehicle specifically for going on diving trips. So you're in a unique situation.
I would say failing to prepare is preparing to fail, you know? So we were prepared, we went there, everything is done.
There is always a plan B. We could have go there, talk to one of the dive centers, and just get equipment from them and go and do this.
I would say good luck to that.
Cut it.
Sorry, Misha. Good luck to that.
I drove once there to Fujairah. Arrived at 3 p.m. I'm like, guys, I want to be on the boat now. I'm coming with people, and they like put us on the boat and we went diving.
Yes, go after 5 o'clock and ask the same question.
Probably going to be a problem.
No, you won't find anyone to ask him the question. That's it.
We talk all the time, Zeek, internally. You've heard the gossip about how enterprises need to become digital. Becoming digital is that phrase we keep turning back to. What does becoming digital mean to you?
It means that you can use all your tools without being physically in a place that you need to be in. Like now the whole idea of being in the office. Do you really need to be in the office? If you have all the tools, everything, you have access to all your resources from home and you're secured and you're doing exactly the same job, including meetings and virtual meetings and you're doing everything. So plus the speed, as Misha said, the hyper mode now. So now, which is faster? To find your manager, to go to him and get approval for something, or just click a button.
So automation is a part of that, right? Becoming digital is a big word about digitizing everything within a company?
Yes.
Life.
Yes.
I like that. Misha?
I don't like to see on this just from perspective, let's digitize stuff. Like, let's convert this document to PDF. It's not a digital transformation.
Right.
Okay? It's digitization of some assets, yes. But I like the concept digital life, okay? How we start running business by leveraging digital. What we changing in a business, what we changing in the processes, what we changing in outcomes. Think about this. Like government of Dubai is dealing with a paperless project, right? It's, if I'm not mistaken, it's already more than 60% of government entities already switched to the full paperless.
60, wow.
So if you will take a look, and all this information is public, by the way. If you will take a look, we will see that it was a lot of calculations. How much money government will save just to become a paperless? Just think about it. Just paperless. So yes, it's going to change a lot of processes, a lot of procedures, a lot of ways of operation. But just one outcome, paperless. We're talking about saving of paper. We're talking about saving of on printers, maintenance of those printers, tuners, all that stuff. Now even more, you need to print something. Before you needed to be in the office. Remote printing, yes, exists for years, decades, but there is always some limitations, security limitations, different aspects. So it was always some challenge to print remotely. So people were going to the office to print one document to sign it. Really? Think about it. Now this person spends 40 minutes on the road, going back 40 minutes at the end of the day, like just carbon emission of the car on the road for more than 1.5 hours a day. All that is get calculated. And then what the outcomes, like when everything will work as planned, the savings, just savings, I'm not talking about optimization of the processes, just savings, it's about $1.5 billion a year. It's the cost of the Burj Khalifa. A new Burj Khalifa can be built here every year, just on savings, on becoming more digital.
And that's just digitizing one piece, right?
It's not digitizing. It's becoming, starting to leverage digital technologies. It's not just about let's convert documents to PDF. It's
Just not use documents. Let's not use paper. And I would add on what Misha said, because you know me, I'm a kind of a tree hugger because of what I do. But like, you're not only saving money, and you're not only saving paper, and you're saving trees. So you're adding to the oxygen levels of Earth. Now the whole global warming idea, it can be reversed fully if you go on full digital, because now you stop cutting tree because you don't need the paper to print on to get the signature on. Now digital signature. The whole idea of having a secured way to digital sign a document or an approval or whatever, this is what the government of Dubai now is embracing, because all the approval cycle happens in way shorter time, less needed documents and paper and going from a place to a place. You can apply for your visa online, you get the approvals online, everything is online, and the only thing that is missing that need a paper is taking your passport, going to a certain place, they print the sticker with the visa on it, and they put it on your passport. And I promise you, in a couple of months, maybe we don't see that.
So talking to you guys, it seems so obvious. It seems so obvious that every company should be doing this in the world, no exceptions, but they're not, right? Zeek, why are they not? What's the hardest part about becoming digital? Where are companies getting stuck?
Staying in a human mode.
Explain.
Humans tend not to like change. If it's like this, keep it this way. So
if
give
it
them
works, don't touch.
Exactly.
You probably heard this many times, right?
Yeah, don't break it.
How many times people think, oh, let's move from house to house? A lot. How many times it's actually happened? Never. Why? Because, it's the move. It's being scared of the unknown. And this is why me and Misha likes to dive, because every dive you go down, it's always unknown. We're not built to live there. We're not built to stay there. So this makes you are conquering the unknown. Most of the people in human mode, they say, no, I'm happy, yes, I have documents. And even what makes it worse is some of these organizations, they are digital, but still having a paper because, oh no, I have to have a backup on a paper, I have to have the signature on a paper because if anything happened, I need to have proof. Yeah, but digital is proof now.
Well, we are not a team of psychiatrists or mental coaches. So how do we help to change the mindset? Do we ignore the companies with the wrong mindsets, or how do we influence the mindset? If it all comes down to in here, how do we make an impact there? Do you want to start, Misha?
I would start with education. Like we do a lot of sessions, a lot of meetings, where we just ask questions and making them think about this, okay? And this is one of the approaches that I use to educate the other part, to make them think differently. Like we know what we know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know.
Right.
So we always need some help from outside of the second party, third party, to help us to realize what we don't know. So we don't know what we don't know. Think about this. It's not just the game of words. We need somebody to highlight to us what we don't know that we don't know. So we do a lot of discovery sessions. We're educating. We do a lot of workshops. We talk. We present. We go to conferences. Now it's like a lot of virtual conferences. And I would say we start with education. Okay? Then, as a second approach, it's really important to bring the confidence that there's always a way back. Nobody likes one-way ticket. So one-way ticket it's good in a song, but it's not good in a real life. Like we always want to go, and whatever we do, we try to go and have some redundancy. We want to have like peace of mind that if what we try to do, it's not going to work, we have the plan B. We have something, or we can go back, we can reverse. It's everywhere. In some cases, so for example, we go dive, like we're diving everything redundant. Like more redundancy that Zeek has I never seen, okay, but on the dive. Okay, I'm close to this, I'm not there yet.
He's got more knives than a ninja, it's crazy.
And the interesting fact that I've seen divers around the globe. Many of them, yes, coming prepared. They have kind of backup plan for this and this and that redundancy. And you talk to them, and sometimes like you're asking them questions outside of the life, and you don't see the same patterns that they even think about the other paths of like what if it's not going to be this and that. So why in one case is like probably because our life on the line we think about the redundancy, but in the business it's not the case. But again, a lot of enterprises don't want to try new things if they don't have the confidence or at least a belief that they can reverse.
What's your thought from a mindset perspective? How do you help
I
them?
totally agree. Like increasing awareness on how things can be better makes life easier. Again, everything that has been done in the past 50 years, as Misha said, like we developed a lot. It was because some people were not scared of introducing new ideas, new ways of living, new. And then suddenly, now HYPERMODE started. So think of it this way. I am living in a place where I'm happy with what I have. Yes, you can. But with the HYPERMODE now, with whatever is happening in life, you're too old. You're again, extinction. You will be like a dinosaur. So they didn't survive, not because only the volcanoes and meters and all this happened, but because they couldn't go fast enough, like what's happening now. So if you don't go in the hyper lane, I say you're gonna decay.
Mm-hmm. So let's jump, like we all agree, mindset number one. Let's jump beyond mindset. Let's get a little bit more technical, not too much, otherwise I'll have to leave the room. But from a solutions perspective, from a value proposition perspective, what do you think is, the missing ingredient or an area that enterprises struggle most? Is it data? Is it integration? Is it migration? Is it something to do with cybersecurity? Like, where do you think along the start of that digital journey do a lot of companies struggle from let's say a solutions perspective?
I would answer in a different way, but what we do as DeepDive is we show how much confident we are in our technology. And then, as Misha said, people are scared to go somewhere because they don't have enough confidence that, oh, can we do that? With using our references and putting that in place where you show the benefit of the new technology or the new digitization, or how do you go as fast as this? And thankfully we have Misha with us, which is have like proper say if I can do it with zero downtime. When you tell this to the customer, your customer, even if he's lacking confidence, his confidence level just jumped up. Why? Because he looks at a guy that say, I'll give you back your money if this doesn't happen.
Yeah, so it sounds like we really don't try to get into conversations as much as possible about we're bringing you data, we're bringing you integrations, we're bringing you on the particular solutions. It's more the business value, right?
It's always about business values, like from my perspective. It's always about business values. But, like a lot of organizations, and again, there's not easy answers. If we will take a look how organizations progressed for the last 10 years, 20 years, we were just talking a few minutes ago about the mindset, works don't touch, right? So right now we still have a lot of enterprises that leveraging legacy technology. And when we come to them and talk about, okay, here's the new cutting edge, shiny toy, in the back of their mind, they think, okay, how am I going to integrate with this? How I bring this now to my ecosystem, and how I make my legacy system ship data to this new amazing technology, how I will be leveraging this and that, how I will interconnect like all those pieces, how I will adjust the business flow and technology flow like that involved there with this new shiny thing. And a lot of enterprises, they just simply don't know about the integration. One of those meetings that we had here in Dubai in last 2 weeks, remember one of the first questions that we were asked, how you guys integrate with this? Are you capable to integrate with this and this?
Legacy systems.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It was like straight on.
Yeah.
So people sometimes don't know how to do this, and then they fall back again to the mode of operation. It works, don't touch.
You were an integration manager on a major IBM acquisition, right?
Yes.
We were talking about that, I think, on the way to
Yeah.
or from a dive. It was one way or the other. From your experience, like, tell us the importance of integration. I was trying to tease that before because I feel like integrations I think it's something that we do really well as DeepDive. But tell us your experience.
So again, if IBM thought that, okay, we are good in many aspects and many verticals, but we are lacking a bit of cybersecurity. So instead of building and developing and making an R&D for that, why don't I buy a well-established company that have the technology, have everything, and just embed this as a plugin in my system? And this goes back to what DeepDive now do is how the collaboration with the legacy system goes back to the high-tech, fast stuff. It's instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, why don't I get something as a plugin, plug it in my system, make it seamlessly the integration and the migration, and now I'm done. I have the knowledge, I have the know-how of cybersecurity, and this was ISS.
Is integration becoming a hot topic? Is it an old topic right now? Or where does integrating different products, different data streams lie in the context of 2021?
It's going to be always there. The integration cannot be an old school thing because
It always was there.
Exactly. It's been there and it's always there. People don't do it or don't say it, but still, everything in life has to be integrated now to work together. Think of it like any watch. The gears in the watch, it's an integrating systems. Every gear do something, you integrate it with another gear, you get extra option, extra function. And by that, this is how we do it. We go, study your system, know exactly your pains and know how to make it happy, and then show you the value of not even making money, but saving money. So now, saving money means you're making more money. So it's a win-win scenario. Even if we're saving money, you're making money. Now you're saving money for some time, then you start making money with the same system. So as Misha always say, if we don't make you money, we're gonna save you money.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about like the data-driven decisions, and as much as more data we get and collect and analyze, the better. But how we get this data, how we deal with all this, it's integration. Like as much as more integrations we have and easier integrations, we will get much better decisions. Like for example, again, I will step back to diving, right? Now, real simple. I wanted to see under the water how much air I have in my tank. Not just from perspective how much bars I have. Like I have a gauge that shows me how much bars I have. But I wanted to also to have a real-time calculation for how much time I have air. How we do this? Boom, in a dive computer that has integration with the tank, with the regulator that gives me information in real time under the water.
So that dive computer is useless unless it's integrated to these other
I
products.
wouldn't call
right?
word,
We
I
can
wouldn't
say
use
useless.
useless.
Exactly.
It provides value. But with this small integration, I suddenly got another 20-30% of information that I didn't have before.
And this is exactly what I said. You integrate because you add options. But instead of trying to have different independent systems that is doing different functions, this is when integration comes. Now you have different systems, all integrated, gives you one final thing. In here, in UAE, Sheikh Mohammed, the ruler of Dubai, he can look at a monitor, shows him everything that is happening in his government. How this is happening. Every single government entity is different. But this is the integration and collaboration of the information that ends up on a higher level that goes there as charts and numbers. He looks at it, okay, today is a good day for us.
I want you both to think of a number in your minds.
I knew that you're going to do that.
Yeah, I'll probably say the same number, but between 1 and 10, how sophisticated, how well are large enterprise companies doing from an integration perspective? 10 being everything is connected perfectly and you're getting all this extra 20-30% value because all the data is everywhere? Or is it 1 out of 10, meaning it's archaic, nothing talks to each other? Think of a number in your minds. Misha, you go first. What number and why?
Before I will say that, I will ask you a question, okay? I know that you were involved and you spent more than 120 hours just studying how paramedics work.
Yeah.
And you discovered that they putting the same data in 2 different systems because what?
Because the systems did not talk to one another.
So
And
in
this is
your
called
opinion, and in your opinion, like from 1 to 10, how integrated them? And this is a big enterprise environment.
Large enterprise, public organization, I would probably say that they're at a maximum 3 out of 10. And I think the problem is they probably think they're at a 6 or a 7. So what you think and what you know is different. What are your thoughts?
I would say that in many enterprises, it's around more than 6. Like at least I want to believe so. Okay, it's more than 6. I've seen enterprises, not a lot, to be honest. In my career, I've seen few enterprises around the globe that I would say that they close to 9. Like I don't want to elaborate on how much effort they put in this and how much money they spent on that. Okay, this is another story. But at some point, they realized that this is the journey to be digital. They started this digital journey back in '99, and in about 3 years, they get to the level that I would say they already were about 7.5. They started to get information from almost anything. They knew how to use this information, how to deliver it from one system to another. Like it worked really well.
So but you're saying a 6 is where you think the average large enterprise is. There's room for improvement.
I would bet on that.
Okay.
I would put some asterisks on that. Okay, as long as we are not talking to the technology company, software development company, for example, right? It's a different story. Like if it's not IT company, and we're talking about anything but not IT, then it's about 6.
What are your thoughts?
I would say 4 to 6. But again, the human factor of having ego says, oh, I'm 9. And this is why most of the people think that they know and they are in a very good state. And this is part of our services that we do, is just showing, okay, this is the facts of life. This is where you stand now, and this is where we can take you. So is this good? Now you're at 4, now we can take you to 8. This is nice, is this good? Because now the ego part of, oh no, I'm good and everything, and this I've seen a lot as a security consultant or as a guy that used to do even pre-sales. You go to a company and they say, oh, so are you secured? Yeah, we have a firewall, we have antivirus, we have. All the building blocks are there. But are they integrated? See, back again to integration. And this is what makes life easy. And as Misha said about diving, all our gear, in somehow, they are integrated together. Because if you have a regulator but the hose have a problem, then your integration is not functioning. The computer is reading the transmitters that is on it's all as a mesh, different systems and all integrated together. So think of it, it's like everything in the world. Cars are integrated, blah, blah, blah. All this is using integration. How to implement it and why, this is your own decision.
It's like its own journey. It seems like integrations are just getting better and better, right? How different devices, products, services, even teams are talking with one another, to put it in really general terms. Let's talk about...
Before we'll jump to another topic.
Yeah.
Almost every single merger and acquisition deals always starts from the technology angle, from the one simple thing. How I make everybody now in a team be able to see the calendar of each other, be able to send and receive emails under the same domain, same address format. How I do this day one, when deal gets signed that two companies merging together. One company acquires another company. How day one, everybody starts doing at least this small activity.
And it seems like it's...
And this is the integration.
And it's harder than it seems. We were talking just about the user ID can be a challenge, right? Sometimes you can have duplicate users.
So it's a big challenge. It's not even the migration and consolidation approach yet. We're just talking about integration, connecting two systems and adjusting them into the mode that they will operate as one entity. But data still stays segregated, mailboxes still segregated, calendar systems still different, like everything is still different. But the integration is the first step of connectivity, of the data exchange, of anything. Like everything starts with integration.
So let's jump off that data exchange. In my mind, at least, it seems like data is a really important part of any digital transformation. It seems like it provides you with insights. Based on those insights, you can do things. Is that correct? How important is data to decide what your transformation roadmap should even look like, and what to do and what decisions to make at what point? Where does data fit in?
Can you live without your memory?
I don't want to try.
Okay, you won't function without your memory. This is the data. Data is what makes you what you are now. So all the data that you're using, whether it's legacy data or anything, this is how you built up your current state now. So data is the most important part. And this is when, as Misha said, the more data we collect about the customer or about the client, that makes our life easier and makes the customer's life easier. So hiding stuff because, oh, I don't want to look bad in front of these guys that is coming to do the integration or doing whatever, that makes it a bit of a pain because now you suddenly discover something that was not said to you. So think of it this way, going to a hospital and you're saying, oh, my insurance number is this, my medical history is 1, 2, 3. If they don't have that, then I'm allergic to antibiotics. Somebody can just give me a shot of antibiotics because they didn't know that I have. My data says I'm allergic to antibiotics. So this is the data.
Now again, it's all business should operate, if you ask me, from the angle of data-driven decisions. So don't want to go even far. Really simple. How many people you have in your business that you need to pay salaries? This data comes from HR, from your financial department. How many people you hired in last year? What was the revenue stream at that point? Is it matching? Is it scalable? How you going to plan the future? What's your business goal? You want to jump from $10 million to $100 million. You need data to do those analysis.
Exactly. Take the data, analyze them, come out with an output, and take the decision based on that.
Yeah, I could not agree more.
Remember the spin-off supply chain management, where we're collecting the geotagging, right, of the asset that we're tracking. One of the reasons to collect the geotagging is to see where the path of this asset from point A to point B, or from the moment when the asset gets created until the asset gets destroyed. Based on this, we can come up with the new insights. Guys, by the way, did you know that actually this asset can be transitioned from point A to point H faster by passing point F if we will do this?
Yeah, I personally...
What was the reason why this particular asset stuck at that location for more than 4 days? How much did you guys pay for the facility to store this asset there extra 2 days? It's all data. And sometimes it makes no sense, it makes no logic. Like it's not obvious right away. Why are you guys collecting geotagging for the asset that has nothing to do with geolocation?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's all data everywhere.
And I suppose this is another reason why when in doubt, when we're collecting data, we collect something even if we don't know how we're going to use it right now. I know you talk about that all the time.
I try to do that, yeah.
Like, let's collect any parameter we can because we're going to use it.
The more the better.
Yeah, it just seems like I sometimes try to think with this mentality, if you had perfect information, 100% information, you knew every single thing about your business, it would be super easy to improve. So like, how do you get as close to 100% as possible? You'll never get to 100% data. You'll never get to 100% awareness of every single thing. But the closer you can get, the better. So it sounds like what should guide the digital transformation journey is the data, right? Is the ability to analyze the data.
I would expand. Data should drive everything, not just a digital transformation.
Exactly. Because if you take the decision based on your analysis that is coming from your data, makes your life easier. Because at the end of the day, yes, you know hard stuff. Now you have experience, now everything. But okay, as Misha said, the people you have, what's the turnover? Who's not happy? Why they're not happy? If you get all these data in, you'll make your employees happy, you'll make them stay with you. So now the whole idea of, oh, this guy left, oh, this account is thrown, the missing links and the missing blocks in the whole mesh is going to come to where it should be. Think of it like the matrix.
We do data analysis constantly, sometimes even without thinking and realizing. Like today, we wanted to be here in this room for this particular recording, right? We were checking like the traffic. We knew when we need to be here. We were doing the calculation, how much time it's going to take us to come here, when we need to leave our auto, like all this stuff. It's a data analysis. We were gathering all this information and analyzing it really quick. One entity decided to improve the life of the taxi drivers, right? And they wanted to learn what technology can do to improve their life, right? How we started? We started to ride in a taxi and talking with taxi drivers just to collect data for analysis. This is how it actually works, like everywhere. We saved to one company, like small company, it's just 700 people, almost $150,000 a year just on optimizing their spend on licensing for one cloud vendor. Only one. Just one cloud vendor in one domain, in one niche, $150,000 savings just in a small business.
We're not going to mention that cloud vendor on the podcast.
No.
Cloud.
But how we did it? We did the end user behavior analytics. We were studying how they use this cloud product, what pieces of this cloud product they use, how often, and then based on that we crafted the ecosystem that can automatically on the fly adjust the licensing that associated with each and every end user in the organization.
This is the you don't know what you don't know, right?
Exactly.
This organization had no idea this was something that could be optimized until we step in, we look at the data, and we provide some option, right? And they can put it on their transformation journey.
Based on the data that we collected. So if you go, it's always about data mining. What data you have and what you're going to do with it.
Both sides are important, right?
Exactly.
Collecting and then creating.
Analysis. Because if like, okay, I have the data anyways, but did I look at it? So analytics is the whole idea of having the data. You use it to analyze your situation, and then from that you do something else. And this comes everywhere in life. Like, how are you, Luke? How's everything? Where are you from? How old are you? All this is, I'm getting data now, okay? In the security life, it's called social engineering in cybersecurity, because all the business card that you give to someone have a lot of information that they can use with or against you.
Data-driven decisions everywhere. Look, what is your weight? Based on that information, Mr. Zeek gives you the weight that you need to put on your weight belt when you go and dive. It's a data analysis.
And
in real time,
if he
in
doesn't
real
know,
life.
if he doesn't know, if he's estimating, it's going to affect the performance of the activity.
I would say the guess is the
change.
enemy of the success.
It's going to change everything. And if, like, when we go back to the diving part, let's say most of the divers that doesn't know how to do the analysis, they just put some weight. Heavy is better than light, which is good. But do you know how much air you're going to consume extra just because you have extra weight that you don't need?
Right.
Because of the drag and. Think of this, by making a car. I want to make the car go 200 kilometers an hour with utilizing this amount of gas. Get the data from the car, put the load on it, and then see and do the analysis, and boom, you have better performance.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking to a lot of companies right now that are struggling. Some of them are thriving, some are having great years, some are having successful pivots, and they're looking forward to what happens in 2021. But there's a lot of companies that are having some degree of challenge that's unusual, right? If I'd like to ask you both, start with you, Zeek, if you had a megaphone and we're having a lot of these conversations now, but if you had a megaphone and you could push one consistent theme or message to these enterprise companies that we're meeting with for what they should be focused on, what they should be doing, what's important for 2021, what would you say on that megaphone?
Embrace the change. That's it. Because if they start thinking we can change, and it's not something that anyone cannot do, then you're going into the new era of digital transformation, hypermode, data analytics, everything. Why? Because you say, okay, I can change.
Embrace the change, embrace the chaos, manage the chaos, right?
I would say dream, to be honest. Start dreaming. Don't get out of this circle and where you just operate with what you have. Dream what could be changed. And yes, embrace the change. Start accepting that change is mandatory. We're gonna die if we are not changing. We constantly, like, when we as humans get born, we're growing, we're changing. We're changing physically, we're changing mentally. We collect extra new data, we're studying, we're leveraging this data, we're changing. we're collecting data, we're learning something new, our mind is changing, our decisions are changing, we are changing as humans. And we do this without even thinking. In business, we need to think about the change. When we change, when we want to achieve something, to achieve something, we need to start dreaming about this something new. How we become X. How we become leaders in this niche. How we take the car industry of 100 years and change it. Let's take out this oil engine. Let's make it electrical car. Why? Maybe just because we want to change. Maybe it starts from there. We need to start thinking about this. Because the change actually is a driver of the innovation. It's a driver of evolution. Our evolution, it's all about change. In a life and in a business. We need to change. To change, we need to dream about something new. People always had a dream to fly. This dream drove the change to invent the plane. People always dreamed about the space. Now we're in space. People were dreaming about finding another planet where we can, as a human, live. How much studies we do right now in the world about Mars?
A lot.
We're talking right now about colonization of Mars. We're talking about living under the water. This is the change.
Yeah.
But this change, I think, starts from, really as a point zero, as a dream. Think
of yourself personally before you did the dive. Can I dive? This is always comes, can I do it?
Can I breathe underwater?
Exactly. 1, 2, 3 things. And then when you did it, you got taught how to do it and you did it. And now your life changed. Now you can go to a place and say, oh yes, I can dive. Why? Because I am good and I can do it. So you embrace the change that it's a new thing, why can't I do it? And because of the factor in the business way, it's like a lot of factors say, oh no, don't change. First of all, there's being scared. If I do this change, will I keep my job or I get fired? So again, there is a lot of decisions that makes life different. But if you accept the changes, then you're done.
Absolutely. Mr. Zeek Zorkany, Director of Business Development, MENA region. Any final thoughts as we welcome you to the team here and crack out this podcast? What's on your mind?
We're expecting happy days. So we live it day by day. Life is going to be better. We dream it. We can make it happen.
We even ended with your catchphrase, happy days.
Happy days. Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Happy days.
Happy days.
Welcome on board, man.
Thank you very much.
Happy days.
I would say happy days. We're not going up now.
Good.
No, we are going up, man.
We're going up.
Yes. Just slowly and not faster than your slowest bubble.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode at the State of Innovation. If you got feedback, ideas, or possible next guests, send us an email at info@stateofinnovation.show. Check out our website for all episode history, www.stateofinnovation.show. We're available on basically all major podcasting channels, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and whatever else is out there. And join the conversation going down on LinkedIn. We'll see you in another one.